Welcome, everyone, to CDO Magazine series of one-on-one interviews with CDOs, data leaders, and key influencers. I'm your host, Robert Lutton, Vice President, Sandhill Consultants, and I'm coming to you today from Toronto, Canada, working with the CDO Magazine. Today, I have the pleasure of introducing Shashank Garg, who is the founder and CEO of Infocepts. Welcome, Shashank.
Thank you, Robert. It's a pleasure to be here, and I'm happy that we're doing this.
We see and hear organizations are investing in AI, generative AI.
Yeah.
If they're not investing it, they're using it somehow, right? And we see that according to the Gartner hype cycle, that adoption is accelerating. However, when I was on your website, you were mentioning that almost 90% of organizations have yet to realize tangible results or benefits from this investment. So, with that being the case, in your opinion, how do you eliminate the kind of I bought it, but it's shelfware because it hasn't turned out to be the investment that we thought it would be? How would you sort of direct an organization to say, well, I would do it this way?
I think first it starts with us recognizing that we all have bought far too much technology in the past 5, 6 years in the name of modernization than we needed to. I see lots and lots of organizations in that bucket. Once we recognize that, it's not very hard. Obviously, it requires leadership, strong leadership from the CDOs and the data leaders and the business leaders to align and change courses and start rationalizing some of the decisions that are no longer valid. It's also a realization that these cycles for technology, new technologies to come up has reduced from 10 years to 5 years to 3 years now.
Sure.
So if you made an investment 3 years ago and you haven't done much, that doesn't mean that you are forced to continue. You can cut, right? But when it comes to sort of how do you look at like the whole application rationalization process, right? We really start with identifying, like revisiting what was the business need, reimagining whether this is the best way to do it, or in the last 2 years, we have many new ways of doing it, looking at those overlaps, and then being brutal about cutting it, right? I've got, and there's terms that we use in the industry, which I don't necessarily agree with. There's a modern data stack, there's a legacy data stack.
Right.
And we often refer to technologies which, were about 15, 20 years old, and they were some of the early ones and may not have done such a good job in keeping up with everything that is happening in the new space. I'm not in that bucket who says that get rid of everything that's legacy. No. If it works, why change?
Mm-hmm.
If it works, why change? But there's plenty of examples where, there's clear that it's not working and people are just so stuck with because they can't get rid of it because the cost of modernization or the cost of change is very high. I think that's when partners like Infocepts can come in very, very handy. We've got programs like enterprise product support. We actually offer our clients the ability to support some of these legacy products, like take on product support, so that at a much lower cost, so that you can take up the same dollars and put them in change management or innovation, right? So we offer that flexibility in the way we do business that a lot of our clients are actually taking a lot of advantage of.
In the last couple of minutes, Shashank, I wanted to come back to something that I was really impressed earlier on with when I was reviewing the profile of the organization. The organization mentions that it saved clients over $180 million plus and counting in client savings. Can you elaborate on the practical impact Infocepts offerings have had on businesses, especially in the terms of unlocking previously unforeseen relationships and generating results for the organization?
Let me answer that in a few buckets, right? First, as we were just talking, right? Removing shelfware, getting rid of technologies that have been sitting there, used but not nearly as used as they were in the past. Just literally reverse sort your OPEX by technology.
Right.
Take the top 5 buckets and look at rationalization. I mean, we have had scenarios where anywhere from $1 to $3 million or half to $1-3 million per technology per year, you're able to get rid of because you've already invested in the new tech, but you're continuing with the old.
Right.
That's a very simple thing to do. It can happen very, very fast. And we've got some creative ideas that we can bring to the table. Few other buckets. And again, they relate to what we spoke about earlier in the dialogue. So we are seeing examples where there is an existing way of, for example, let's look at a retailer who is doing e-commerce with their digital assets, and they have, let's say, 50,000 products on there. And there's a team of copywriters which writes those product descriptions.
Right.
And right now, Shashank and Robert see the same exact shirt description, while the retailer knows that, and we look different. We come from different worlds. We have different cultural, sensibilities. Yeah. And we probably want to see a different description, which is gonna, higher propensity to buy for Robert versus Shashank. Right now, it's the same. So we have several such examples where you can use some of the new generative AI pieces to hyper personalize those product descriptions, to automate. So right now, instead of writing 50,000 descriptions, you can write 500,000 at 1/4 the cost. So you not only drop the cost, but you could theoretically have a 2 to 5% revenue lift because of the hyper personalization, right?
Yep.
And I think the same pattern now repeats for a lot of the client-facing. So I'll give you another example that we are working on. So imagine you're a pharmaceutical firm. You've got a workforce, a field force of, let's say, 500 people selling a drug. So these are the people who go in there and call upon the doctors to influence them to prescribe their drugs, right? So the way they work, we all have CRM systems. They go in, they get their detailing sheet, and that's what they go and tell the doctor. But the doctor doesn't want to limit themselves to the detailing sheet that you came prepared with.
Mm-hmm.
Like this conversation, can go anywhere, right? You want this to be free-flowing conversation. So what we are doing is, let's say you are in the area of pain management, and there is constantly new research happening that through the regular structured processes, the amount of time it takes of data curation and all that takes way too much time. Now, using some of the generative AI capabilities of summarization, content summarization, and articulation, you're able to take a lot of internal data, those old detailing sheets, but combine them with the research that is happening in many different places and some of the competitor data that is available in public domain that the doctor is already reading, and have a very engaging conversation around not just the products, but the overall domain of pain management, what the problems clients are facing. At the end of the day, that sales professional, his or her job is to have an engaging conversation that the doctor remembers. And that's what causes the revenue lift, not the accuracy of the detailing sheet. Right?
Yes. Yeah. Those are people buy from people they like, right? So usually. No, that's fantastic, Shashank. I appreciate that. Listen, I think we've just hit our kind of time limit here, but on behalf of CDO Magazine, we would really like to thank you for your time. We appreciate your knowledge and experience. We certainly hope that we can have you back to talk about and share your knowledge and experience on AI, generative AI, and the knowledge that you're passing on. And I believe, just one last point, the white paper, is it available on your website?
It is available on the website. We can put up a link up there. It's called 5 DNA Initiatives to Drive Business Growth in 24 and Beyond. It's by my colleague, Suvash Khari. We sort of collectively brainstorm on that. So I definitely encourage people to read that. I'd also encourage the audience to review some of our offerings that we are offering, including Discovery AI, Employee 360, Insights IQ. These are all offerings that address some of the specific challenges and areas that we discussed today.
I fully endorse recommending people go to the website. There's a lot of critical, essential, full-bodied information coming out there that you can just immerse yourself with. So if you haven't had a chance to, please to go out and visit the website. So Shashank, thank you very much indeed for your time today.
Thank you, Robert. And for the audience, I'm available on LinkedIn. Happy to take any questions. You can post your questions here or reach out to me on email or via LinkedIn.
And we look forward to seeing more interviews. I saw the one that you did with Scott Taylor and Randy Bean as well. So that was a great one. And for our listeners, please visit cdomagazine.tech for additional interviews. Thank you.